The Google Doodle Champion Island Games have begun. Choose your team and compete against 7 legendary champions in events like table tennis and rugby. Receive all 7 sacred scrolls and perform kind deeds for others to go down in the history books as one of the very best, like no one ever was. In this video, I'll break down the myths and legends the designers built into the Champion Island game world, which is practically a virtual shrine to sports. What's up, Japan fans? Welcome back to Eat Play Anime. I had a totally different topic planned for today when Google suddenly dropped a one-of-a-kind doodle game to celebrate the opening of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Since sports fans from around the world can't attend the games in person due to COVID-19 restrictions, the Google Doodle team and the animation studio, Studio 4C, wanted to create an opportunity for the world to compete together and learn about Japanese culture. Google Doodle Champion Island is a browser game designed in the classic 16-bit style of early 90s games like Super Mario World, Chrono Trigger, and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. You play as a female calico ninja cat named Lucky, who has traveled to Champion Island to participate in the local sports festival. Your goal is to explore Champion Island, challenge the 7 reigning champions, and collect all sacred scrolls, and help the island's inhabitants along the way. The main sports levels themselves aren't too difficult, so this game can be enjoyed by players of all ages. Thanks to a number of side quests and secret difficulty levels, there's an impressive amount of playability in this game if you're a perfectionist or a completionist like me. It took me about 2 hours to finish every single task. When Lucky reaches the island, she is greeted by 2 stone lion dogs called Shishi and Komainu in Japanese. You can often find a pair of these guardian deities warding off evil spirits at the entrance to a shrine or temple. You can tell the Shishi lion apart from the lion dog Komainu by the small horn on the Komainu's head. The Komainu also holds a round jewel called a tama, which is a sacred Buddhist treasure. Traditionally, one guardian has its mouth open, uttering the symbol A, and the other has its mouth closed in the syllable Together, they form the sacred sound Aum, found in a number of religions that originated in South Asia, like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The presence of these guardian lions suggests that Lucky is entering a very special sacred space. When we reach the center of the island, we find a number of statues dedicated to the legendary champions of the 7 sports. Tengu, the champion of table tennis, the red and blue Oni, champions of rugby, Kijimuna, the champion of marathon running, Tanuki, the champion of skateboarding, Otohime, the champion of artistic swimming, Yoichi, champion of archery, and Fukuro, champion of rock climbing. Before I break the champions down, let's meet the 4 team leaders you can choose from. All Google Doodle competitors can compete on behalf of a global team. Team Blue is led by Ushi the Bull and known for its strength and determination. Team Red is led by Karasu the Crow and prides itself on its intelligence and research skills. Team Yellow is led by Inari the Fox, famous for its cleverness and cunning. Finally, Team Green is led by the enigmatic water yokai called a Kappa, who is known for… actually I have no idea. You might guess that I picked Team Red since I'm a researcher and I'm Team Mystic all the way in Pokemon Go, but actually I picked Team Green because 1, green is my favorite color, and 2, Kappa are my favorite yokai. I'm not going to go into all of the quests, there are so many, but I'll mention a few that are related to Japanese mythology and folklore. The island is inhabited by all sorts of animals, and I was really glad to see that Champion Island is home to Olympic and Paralympic athletes with a range of abilities. You'll see what I mean in a minute. You can face the island champions in any order. The first champion I faced was Tengu, the champion of table tennis. Tengu are a kind of yokai, or supernatural creature, that share both avian and humanoid features. But this competitor isn't any ordinary Tengu. In fact, he's Soulja-Bowl, the great king of the Tengu. Soulja-Bowl is recognizable by his super long nose, mountain ascetic costume, including a small hat and pom-poms on the front of his robes, and his signature fan. You'll notice that Soulja-Bowl wears tall Geta sandals on one foot and a running blade prosthetic on the other. As part of a quest to bring the villagers back to the deserted Tengu village, Lucky tries to steal Soulja-Bowl's fan. When she gets caught, she offers to help Soulja-Bowl find his cloak of invisibility in exchange for the fan. Invisibility happens to be one of the Tengu's magic abilities. Lucky doesn't get to keep either the cloak or the fan, but she does succeed in bringing life back to the village. While I was in the Tengu village, I was also tasked with convincing a yokai called Amefuri Kozo with stopping the rain that is flooding a nearby river. The Amefuri Kozo, or Rainfall Boy, appears in famous yokai artist Toriyama Sekien's work as a young boy with a straw hat or umbrella on his head. Like their name suggests, Amefuri Kozo appears when it rains and may cause the rain in the first place. I thought this was a really cute little piece of Japanese folklore to include in a side quest. The second champion I faced was actually a pair of Oni, the Red Oni and Blue Oni. As I mentioned in my breakdown of the comic Marvel Demon Days #1, Oni can appear in several colors, with red and blue being the most common. There's a well-known children's story in which a Red Oni and Blue Oni are best friends. To form a rugby team against the Oni, Lucky joins Peach Boy and folklore hero Momotaro and his animal friends, a pheasant, a monkey, and a dog. There's also a side quest that fills us in on Momotaro's story. One day, an elderly couple found a peach floating down the nearby river. Much to their surprise, a baby sprang out of the peach and explained that he was a gift to them from the gods. The elderly couple raised Momotaro as their son, and when he reached adolescence, Momotaro set off on a mission to quell unruly Oni. Along his journey, he met some animals who agreed to join his cause in exchange for dumplings called dango. Eventually, Momotaro and his gang defeated the Oni and returned with lots of treasure. Given this folktale, it's fitting that you team up together against the Oni, and for every game that you win, you receive colorful chewy dango as a prize. The third champion I faced was the king of the Kijimuna. Kijimuna are childlike woodland creatures native to the Ryukyu Islands, also known as Okinawa. Kijimuna are red and hairy all over, and they live in trees, especially banyan trees, like the one you'll find in the middle of the Champion Island beach. Kijimuna like to go fishing, hence they're living near the coast. They are also very athletic, being able to leap across mountains and oceans while carrying heavy loads. But for some reason, Kijimuna hate octopuses. While you're running the marathon, you'll have to avoid them in your path, or else you'll lose speed. The fourth champion I faced was a tanuki, champion of skateboarding. According to Japanese folklore, tanuki are a kind of yokai that resemble raccoon dogs. They appear in all kinds of stories as tricksters and shapeshifters. They're often depicted with bottles of alcohol and leaves, which they use for their transformation magic. If you go to Tanuki City, you learn that Tanuki is hiding in a tea kettle. This is a reference to a folktale in which a tanuki shapeshifts into the form of a tea kettle and later gets stuck in a half tanuki, half tea kettle form and performs tricks for treats. Sure enough, Champion Island's tanuki has a tea kettle for a torso and loves to perform skateboarding tricks. The fifth champion I faced was Princess Otohime, the champion of artistic or synchronized swimming. Otohime is a character in the famous folktale of Urashima Taro, a man who rescues a turtle from some children torturing it and rides the turtle to the bottom of the ocean, where the Dragon King lives in a magnificent palace. Taro discovers that the turtle is actually Princess Otohime, the beautiful daughter of the Dragon King, and he stays with her for a few days. But eventually, Taro desires to return home, and Otohime gives him a mysterious box with instructions that he must never open it. Taro can't find anyone he knows in his hometown, and he finds out that 300 years have passed since he left for the Dragon King's palace. Looking for comfort, Taro opens the mysterious box and instantly ages into an old man. From the waves, he hears Otohime's voice. "I warned you not to open the box. Inside it was your old age." Taro's story on Champion Island is a happier one, but it's still a little sad. In one of the homes surrounding Otohime's underwater dojo, Lucky finds the ghost of Taro's worried mother, who asks you to deliver a letter to her son. After hearing back that Taro is happy in the underwater palace, his mother's ghost is able to move on from the world of the living in peace. The sixth champion I faced is Yoichi, the archery champion. Yoichi's full name is Nasuno Yoichi, and he's a figure from the historical epic called The Tale of the Heike. Yoichi was a samurai on the side of the Minamoto or Genji clan during the Genpei War. He was particularly known for his skill with the bow. At the Battle of Yashima, the enemy Taira or Heike clan navy dared the Minamoto soldiers at the beach to try to shoot a fan attached to a pole that they raised on top of one of their ships. Many warriors thought the feat impossible, but Yoichi rode his horse into the waves and shot the fan down with a single arrow. Champion Island's Yoichi rides in a wheelchair-like chariot, and you can compete against him to hit the most targets and fans floating in the ocean. The seventh and final champion I faced is Fuguro, the climbing champion. Fuguro is a large owl with a distinct traditional Ainu pattern on his body. Fuguro is the Japanese word for owl, and it has associations with good luck and protection from harm, which is why owls are considered lucky charms. However, the champion Fukuro's real significance doesn't come from majority Japanese culture, but from the indigenous Ainu people. The Ainu deity Chikab Kamui, also known as Kotankor Kamui, is associated with owls, the land, and material success. According to Ainu legend, Chikab Kamui taught the Ainu how to properly hunt fish and deer, the animals of the land and sea, with respect. The Kamui's tears were said to glean gold and silver, hence the gold and silver ladles that Fuguro wields. Clearly, the game developers intentionally chose the Kijimuna from the Ryukyu Islands and Chikab Kamui from the Ainu to include them under the cultural umbrella of Japan. While the inclusion is probably meant to be positive and celebratory, indicative of the diversity of Japan, some Okinawan and Ainu communities might feel differently in light of the historical and ongoing suppression and commodification of indigenous cultures and practices. This is pretty heavy stuff, but I feel that it's important to acknowledge it. I'll say more on this issue another day. Returning to the game, once all 7 sacred scrolls are in your possession, they glow and erupt in a burst of cherry blossom petals, which circle around the great mountain in the center of the island, which we can take as Mount Fuji, and transform the mountain into an enormous 1,000-year-old sakura tree. Lucky celebrates the sports festival and her victory with all the team leaders, former champions, and islanders, and enjoys some tasty dango. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of all the mythical references in Google's Tokyo 2020 Olympics doodle game, Champion Island. Definitely check it out when you have some time. If you're watching this in the future, don't worry, you'll still be able to play the game in the Google Doodle archive. Stay safe, everyone, and until next time, don't forget to eat, play, and watch anime.